Hi everybody, this is the baseball head, the amazing, spectacular, terrific, the great one, the people's champion, your host, and welcome back to the baseball head 2. If you like this video, hit that subscribe button. So we're into the beginning of the National League and the American League Championship Series. And it's all going to plan. The Mets and the Dodgers are even. The Yankees are beating the Guardians. I expect the Yankees to beat the Guardians in that series. I expect the Mets to play and beat the Dodgers. And I think we'll have a Subway Series. I'm not too happy about that because the Yankees are a pain in the ass. They were a pain in the ass during the last Subway Series. They didn't really want to participate. But maybe we'll have a different kind of situation. But this has been a very exciting postseason for the fans because we've had a lot of teams that weren't expected to be there, including the Mets, including the Tigers. And it's been just awesome. And we've seen with the Mets over the last 2 weeks, we've seen games, if you're a Mets fan, that you cannot believe. You cannot believe. Well, the ratings are going to the roofs on TV. So baseball has sort of been taking a hit the last few years in the ratings. They've had tremendous amounts of positive feedback from the fans. Best positive feedback is people watching. This is from SI. MLB scores blockbuster TV ratings across the Divisional Series best since 2017. Game 5, the ALDS between Cleveland Guardians and the Detroit Tigers capped off one of the most watched weeks of baseball over the past few years. And as you know, that game was on 1 o'clock on Saturday because they bumped up the time because there was a storm coming into Cleveland. And they actually did something smart and they played earlier, which was a fantastic idea. There's nothing better than baseball during the day in the postseason. That's the best kind of, although it's annoying when you got to work and you miss it. I didn't miss that on Saturday, but it's kind of the little bit of the NLCS game too. But that happens. You just got to sort of maneuver. Anyway, October baseball is in full swing, and fans appear to be dialed into the action. 2024 MLB postseason is drawing its best ratings in years. The league announced Monday the Division Series alone drew an average of 3.564 million viewers, which is the highest mark since 2017, up 14% over 2023. Overall, postseason viewership is up 18% compared to this time last year. The average draw of 3.332 million is the highest since the league introduced its new player format in 2022. Fox and FS1 aired the NLDS matchups between the New York Mets and Philadelphia Phillies, as well as the heated showdown between the Dodgers and the Padres. Those contests racked up 4.091 million viewers per game, which is good for Fox's highest mark since MLB playoff games were first shown on FS1 in 2014. Now, a couple of things. The Mets are a big story in the country. They are a national story because of how well they've played, how many crazy home runs they've had late in the game, how many comebacks, how people weren't expecting them to be there. They got off to a terrible start. They were 11 games under 500. They beat the hated Braves on the last day of the season where they had to play a doubleheader. They beat the Brewers in a compelling 3-game wildcard series with Pete Alonso hitting the big home run in the 9th inning on the road. The Mets were down. They would have 1 out in that game. Just an incredible comeback. And then they beat the Phillies the way they did with the grand slam and Game 4 in the 6th inning against the Phillies. And then, of course, you had the series with the Padres and the Dodgers, where the Padres were up 2-1, and then they just stopped hitting to where they got beat in the last 2 games, Game 4 in San Diego and Game 5 in Dodger Stadium. So those 2 series were going back and forth. So that was very compelling baseball. So you can see why the ratings for those games were enormously high. Plus, the Mets haven't been in 2 years. The Phillies are a big team, as you know. There's a huge rivalry between the Padres and the Dodgers. So people were very interested in what was going on in those 2 series. TBS has benefited from the boost in viewership, too, especially during Game 5 of the American League Divisional Series on Saturday. The winner-take-all contest between the Tigers and Guardians was shifted early in the day due to inclement weather and the forecast. The game wound up starting at 1:08 p.m. Eastern Time, and it then went on to be the most watched Divisional Series day game in 17 years. Wow, that's great. That's awesome. CBS also got to broadcast the games between the Yankees and the Royals. That was probably the one series nobody cared about. And I don't think anybody really did. And also would mention this too. The Dodgers-Padres series was also the first series that Shohei Ohtani has ever played in Major League Baseball. So this is really his first taste of Major League Baseball and the playoff system here. And he didn't perform all that great. He had a home run in the first game and then didn't do much the rest of the series. And in fact, in 20 of his at-bats during the series, he struck out 10 times. And in game 2 against the Mets in the National Championship Series, he had a couple hits, but in the second game, he struck out twice. So he is striking out at an enormous rate. So the one thing so the fans are very interested in him. Obviously, Ohtani playing, the Mets story. The Yankees weren't in it last year. They weren't in the postseason last year for the first time in 2 years. And so you have all this stuff. Everybody's all excited. Everybody's very excited here in New York. They're all talking about possible Subway Series here. And since the Mets are one step ahead of the Yankees, and like I said, I think the Mets will beat the Dodgers eventually, and I think the Guardians aren't going to be much of a match for the Yankees. The Yankees are just a better team than really. They only have one team to really worry about. That was Houston. Houston lost to the Tigers in the wild card round, and they didn't do much in that series. Really, wasn't anything impressive. But I expect the Guardians to lose to the Yankees. If they beat the Yankees, I'd be shocked. And believe me, really the dream of Major League Baseball is to have Ohtani play the Yankees. I mean, the Dodgers, I had it right the first time. The Dodgers play the Yankees. They don't want the Mets playing the Yankees. It'll be a great story New York-wise and locally, but the reality is that Major League Baseball want the Yankees to play the Dodgers so they can make a lot of money in Japan and have enormous ratings in Japan. Their ratings are already going to be high. That's going to be one of the most highest rated NLCS in probably in history. Especially if it goes 7 games. If it goes 7 games and Ohtani does some things in the series, people are going to be talking about it. And people in Japan are going to be watching like crazy. And there is a high Asian population in the United States. So people are going to be very interested in what he does, believe me. Well, you let me know what you think about this video. Of course, please subscribe to the Baseball Hut too. I'll see you later.